I've been here 15 years, and I've heard about the legend and all the stuff about the ghost. I've been here at night many times, and I've been in the little theater off and on, and the auditorium, all that stuff. I've never really noticed anything. Personally, with me, I haven't really felt or, to me, it's just another place on campus. So I'm not saying it does or doesn't happen or exist. It just has not happened to me. Haven't been here that long. I don't have a clue who LeRoy is. It might be true, it might not. I mean, it might go back to before the school was even here. I don't know, maybe it was the old school before that. But I don't know of anybody in my mind or history that I don't know LeRoy. But I've heard the legend. But I know there's that rumor going around, and if you talk to Andy Hunsaker, who spends a lot of time down that way, he'll tell you it's true or something. And someone thinks it's gone on with him, but.
Before we hear from Mr. Hunsaker, we tried to find out what we could. According to the Daily Herald, Spanish Fork High School's Little Theater was rumored to be haunted by a custodian who used to work there. After the school was first built, the Little Theater was finished, and the custodian was standing on the catwalk above the stage changing light bulbs when he slipped and fell. Since he was alone at the time he died, if you enter the theater by yourself, it's possible that the stage curtain will rise and fall by itself. Sound effects will start playing, and stage lights will flicker on and off.
Well, there's a lot of rumor going around about what that ghost is. A lot of people call that ghost LeRoy. I happen to have had a couple of experiences with that ghost, just because I work late hours and I'm in the auditorium and the little theater all the time. From what I can tell, it's someone who tolerates us being in that space until a certain time of night, and then you can just tell things make noise, or you can kind of just feel that there's tension in the room, and then so I think it's some older gentleman who is a little bit grumpy at night. I think there's a lot of rumors that there was a custodian that fell to his death. We really have never been able to verify that. I think that's just sort of the rumor mill going around, but I think it's kind of a cool rumor, so might as well keep it going around. Having a lot of experiences with all of the ghosts in both spaces, especially the one in the little theater, the one that stands out to me the most is one night it was really late, and I was locking things up and I was trying to put things away, and in the little theater there's a storage area where we keep all the fabric, and then beyond that's where we store all of the costumes, and that door was shut, and I opened it to make sure nobody was in there, and as I opened it, someone behind it pushed it shut. And I thought, somebody must be changing clothes, so I knocked on the door and I said, "Hello?" No response. So I turned the knob and I pushed it again and again. The door opened just easy, but then somebody pushed really hard against it and slammed the door, and I thought, stupid kids. So I pushed really hard, and the door slammed open, and there was nobody in the room. I think the little theater is sort of a smaller space, so it's kind of confined, but I do have quite a few stories about things that have happened to me and other students, even just in the time that I've been the teacher here, that have happened in the auditorium. So I think that one thing you kind of know as a theater person is that all theaters are haunted. That the energy that goes between an audience and the actor is, you're trying to recreate life on stage, and I think that spirits or ghosts or whatever you want to call them are drawn to that energy. And so if you ask anybody who works in any theater, there's always a theater ghost. Even movie theaters. I've worked at a movie theater, and even there they have this stigma of having a ghost. So I think if you have a theater or anything like it, there's going to be a ghost drawn to it somehow. I think people are different levels of scared. Some students I know really like going and trying to communicate with the ghost, and some don't want anything to do with it. I don't think anybody's really been scared by it. I think we've been startled. I had a student a couple of years ago. He was in there and he was turning off the lights, and he saw a girl out in the audience, and he thought it was a cast member. Her name was Kelsey. She just looked just like him, and he said, "Hey, Kelsey," and he turned around and she was gone. And he came and said, "Hey, have you seen Kelsey?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "I just saw." So, and he realized later that he had seen a spirit, but at the time he didn't know. So I don't think really anybody has been scared by it. But a lot of my technicians always ask me to go ghost hunting with them after hours. And I've probably been, we've tried to go in and communicate 2 or 3 times this school year. And we had a really cool experience the beginning of the school year, but since then it's kind of been dead. Pardon the pun. I was doing a Facebook Live video of me ghost hunting, and I have a friend who happens to be a medium, and she was on the Facebook Live, and she said, here are some tricks to communicate with spirits. And she said, ask the spirit to repeat you knocking. So she said, knock 3 times and ask the spirit to repeat. So I said, okay, if you can, repeat this noise. We waited a few seconds and we hear this. Just a single knock. And I was like, is that what I think it was? She said on the Facebook Live, she said, try it again. Like, ask that ghost to make sure that it wasn't, like an air duct or a bird hitting the building or something. So I said, all right, if you can, repeat that sound. I'm going to knock 3 times. I want you to respond. And then one more knock. And it was really super, like, you could feel the tension. And pretty awesome.